Alright, here we are, everyone. Greetings, everybody. Who is in chat right now? Let's have a look. No one on YouTube just yet, and about one person, I believe, on screen chat. Hi, Cindy. Hi, everyone. Let me know how my audio sounds to you, everybody. It was a bit low on my last stream. As a matter of fact, let me increase the volume right now. Wait a second. I'm going to increase gain by, let's make it 2 decibels higher. Let me know if this is too high. I have increased my volume, alright, not the game's volume. Let me know if that's too high or not. And let's continue. Let us continue. I forgot to set up a YouTube chat, didn't I? Alright, hang on a second. I can fix that in about 10 seconds. Completely forgot to do that. Okay. YouTube chat. Paste that in here, and there we go. Okay. Not that it makes any difference for now, but there might be someone who wants to watch on YouTube. So, hello everybody. Hello Twitch. Greetings. My name is Jeff, and this is But Words Remain. And welcome to my Dark Souls Remastered Lorethrough. I'm afraid those of you watching on Twitch will be a little behind. This is the first episode ever that I stream on Twitch. I have been streaming this series on YouTube since a few months, I believe, since last year. There might be some background noise happening just about now. Hopefully not. This is a series where we slowly play through Dark Souls 1, reading item descriptions and completing as many NPC quests as I can, and just overall talking about this game's lore. Talking about the amazing story in this game. And we are actually very close to the end of this series, to be honest. We have to finish the DLC. I have already defeated Calamite, as you can see. We have acquired his tail, his weapon, in the last stream. First try, by the way. First try win and tail cut. And obviously I have already defeated Artorias here, so all that is left to do is defeat Manus. And then Gwendolyn, because I completely forgot about Gwendolyn. And then Gwyn, and that's it. I have finished the game. I actually intended to defeat Gwendolyn way earlier than that, but I kinda forgot to do it, honestly. Kinda forgot about it. But hey, what can you do, right? What can you do? It's a bit low for me. You mean the game or my voice, Cindy? Which one? The game is indeed a bit low for me as well. Your voice, okay. Let me try and sit closer to the mic, see if it helps, and increase gain on my microphone yet again. Why is my microphone so low? Gain. Okay, that's another decibel up there. Let me watch how much I'm hitting here. I think I can still go higher, honestly. I can do more. So let's make it... I'm afraid of raising gain too much and background noise to start picking up, you know? There. How does this sound, everybody? Hopefully better. Hopefully it sounds better. It's okay now, alright. It's okay, but let me know if you can hear any background noise as well, or if my voice sounds weird, you know. If it starts to pick up air, this tends to happen when you raise the gain on the microphone. So let's teleport to... I'm actually going to Firelink Shrine. And from there, we are going to make a quick trip to the Valley of the Drakes. And that's because I would like to get... I think we need one more Dragon Scale. Yeah, we have 3. How much do I need for the final upgrade? I need 4. So yeah, I need exactly one more Dragon Scale. Let me throw some stuff in here as well. We acquired Lucatiel's weapons. I can hear both sounds. That's okay. By both, I mean, I hope you mean my voice and the game. I hope you don't mean, you know, my neighbors walking around on the hallway just outside. I hope that's not included in there. Right. Alright, so let's run downstairs real quick. And let's try to farm for 1 Dragon Scale. We need the 1. I have already defeated all the Hydras in the game. All 3 of them. And all of the undead dragons as well. So these are all of the guaranteed Dragon Scale drops. And we have played through the Ashen Lake as well. Which means no more guaranteed Dragon Scales. Kinda makes me wonder if we missed any, because I have been told before that the game gives you, you know, at least 1 fully upgraded dragon weapon guaranteed, you know. We should have enough scales to fully upgrade 1 dragon weapon, but we are 1 scale short, so I wonder if I missed any, possibly in the Ashen Lake. But I think it would be faster to farm for 1 rather than searching for 1 missing scale which may or may not exist. Of course, I'm gonna put on the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring. Why do I have Great Arrows equipped? I think I was trying out Goth's Great Bow in the last episode. Valley of the Drakes. The Portuguese translation for this area in particular is abysmal, by the way. Which is why my game is in English, even though it's not my main language. Vale das Draconetes não eras, né? Não, muito obrigado. Quero não. Anyway. We have some drakes in the distance. I have been pretty lucky in the past with scale drops. So this shouldn't take too long, right? We do have Great Lightning Spear equipped too, so we have the means to deal some good damage to them. Although they are not weak to lightning, are they? I'm getting my facts confused here. Dragons are usually weak to lightning, but these ones here, they actually have lightning attacks, so obviously they are resistant to lightning. Okay, this might be tricky, or maybe not. That's a stagger, yeah, that's a stagger. Strong attack, oh. I forgot the... kinda forgot the Obsidian Greatsword did that. But it worked, you know. I would try not to do it again. No scale from the first Drake. So 2 attacks is a stagger. And 4 attacks for a kill. That's nice damage, actually. Pretty good damage. No scale. Let's try this one here. Hey there. Yes, I was hoping he would do that. Almost fell down. Trying not to do that. Nope. No, sir. And we get nothing. Awesome. Can I draw you guys in? Preferably 1 at a time. Fire composite bow, and we don't have fire arrows, do we? I need to get some. Are we medium rolling? Yes, we are. Okay. Hello? Okay. He doesn't seem to care, apparently. He does not care that I just shot him in the face. What about now? Bro, what? Come on. Yeah, there we go. Do the lunge attack, please. Or the sweeping attack, I don't know how to call that. Don't do that. Okay. That's a miss. Could you not do that? With your weird ass 2D texture attack. That I can't outspace safely because it's hard to tell how far away it is. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I'll get staggered. Give me a scale, please. Yes, there we go. See? What did I tell you, chat? Lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. And just like that, we can teleport out of here. I was actually getting a bit scared there for a second. I thought we would have to farm for this for a long time. Thankfully not. Yo, Uchiha on YouTube. What's up, man? Greetings. Long time no see. And we have a +5 obsidian greatsword. I could also max out my lightning winged spear. Do I want to do that? Do I want to? That is the question, right? I mean, I might as well, right? What else do I have? Vale dos Draconetes no Mistrão. Yeah, indeed. It's a very weird name. In the Portuguese translation, that is. Okay, so let's max out our lightning weapon. And let's see the damage. So that's 480 damage on the Obsidian Greatsword. Comparing to our other Greatsword, which is the Divine Claymore. 506, but do bear in mind, the Obsidian Greatsword is pure physical damage. The Divine Claymore is split damage, so overall, probably the same amount of damage. So maybe a very small difference, but overall the same amount of damage. Of course, depending on enemy resistances. The reason why we have the Obsidian Greatsword is because, as I've said earlier, since we're playing a pure safe build, we kinda have limited access to pure physical damage. Most of our damage is elemental. Which is why I have different elemental infused weapons on me, and also, you know, now I have pure physical damage as well. Now, what else? What else? I say it's time we defeat Gwendolyn, actually. Yeah, let's do that. So that would be... What bonfire is that? Catacombs, Crystal Cave. Do I not have the right bonfire? I think I don't, right? So let's go Chamber of the Princess. I was actually intending to do this way earlier in the playthrough. Roleplay-wise, our character would have figured out, you know, the plot made by the gods to fool humanity. And he would have rebelled against the gods. Which is quite tragic, I suppose, us being a paladin, but kinda forgot to do that. So let's say that Sir Antonius has just now found out that the prophecy of the chosen undead is a lie, and he is now rebelling against the gods. There we go. What is done cannot be undone. Do we not get a cutscene? Okay, there we go.
Thou that tarnisheth the godmother's image, I am Gwendolyn. And thy transgression shall not go unpunished.
Sure thing, man. I'm coming for you next.
Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo.
Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo. Of course, this is not the real Gwendolyn, right? As everybody knows by now. This is an illusion created by Gwendolyn. Can we still use this bonfire? We can. Right. I think the main Anorlondo bonfire is the one which gets deactivated, right? And it gets deactivated not because we have defeated, or rather, killed the fake Guinevere, but because doing what we did right now causes the Firekeeper to aggro on us. We might also be invaded. Should I go human for this? Let's be a sport. Shall we, chat? Let's be sportsmen about this. I'm gonna turn human so that we might get invaded by some Blades of the Dark Moon. I am not good in PvP, by the way. Not particularly good in PvP, but still. As we say in my country, if you go out into the rain, you know, you should expect to get wet. Let's reverse hollowing. Is chat working, by the way? Quick alt tab to check. Twitch chat seems okay, YouTube chat seems okay, alright. So, back to the game. We have now turned human. To try to become human. Ah, come on. Come on. I'm gonna go play more on these guys here. There will be some unique enemies just outside. Once you make Anorlondo dark, many enemies disappear, which to me implies that they were illusions created by Guinevere. Guinevere? No, Gwendolyn, sorry. Gwendolyn. But some other enemies appear, those knights over there. A Baldur Knight and a Berenike Knight. Which is interesting. I guess that's the game implying that these are members of the Blades of the Dark Moon Covenant. Okay. What? What? Hang on. Hang on. Hold your horses. Yeah, how do you like that? How do you like this true combo? Do that again. Do that again. Again. I dare you. I double dare you. Again. Ah, invasion. Okay. That's to be expected. Spirit Fanyo has invaded. Come at me, Fanyo. Magic. I see magic. A Blade of the Dark Moon using spells. You're not going to be aggressive, are you? I mean, melee-wise. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Falchion, huh? Oh, come at me then. Oh, partial parry. You're lucky. You're damn lucky, sir. Okay. Jump attack? Nobody expects the surprise jump attack. White Dragon Breath. Respect, sir. Respect for using that. Not many people use that. You're not dealing a lot of damage, though. Do it. Oh, come on. Oh, shit. Haha, out of casts, are you? Oh, come on, man. I can't believe you lost that. Come on. Alright. Fair is fair, I suppose. We are now being hunted down by the Blades of the Dark Moon. What? Why am I here? Oh, right, this happens, right? I think every time you die in Dark Anorlondo, the game spits you into the main Anorlondo bonfire, right? This happens. At least the Phantom isn't a Dex user. He might be a Dex user in training, you never know. He was using, or they were using a Falchion, you know. I can't believe it, yeah man, sorry. Sorry to disappoint you. That guy was playing fair though, that was just, you know, a misplay on me. That one was on me, you know. His magic was dealing some crazy damage though, like his falchion was dealing very minor damage. It is pure slashing damage and I have the giant's armor on, so it's understandable, you know. But his magic though was dealing some crazy high damage. F, thanks Cindy, thanks for the F. But yeah, very honest gameplay from that guy. Do we have a lever here? Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? I can't raise the bridge. And my souls are all the way over there. So now I have to do the goddamn Painting Guardian circus bullshit again. Wow. Thank you, Dark Souls. Thank you, truly. What should I equip anyway? Wait, what? Okay, that's the elevator, okay. Kinda scared me for a moment. Every phantom I met is Dex, not fun. That blue phantom make me feel I can beat him. Yeah, that blue phantom was not super powerful. I mean, again, their magic was very powerful, but they were using Dark Beat, which is a very low requirement spell. And they were dealing very low damage with their melee weapon, which makes me think they might be twinking. Might be a low-level invader who just so happens to invade me, who is a high-level character. So that's, you know, more shame to me, I suppose, because I lost to a severely under-leveled opponent. So yeah, GG to that guy. Okay, so let's deal with the Painting Guardians again. Let's try not to die, not to lose my souls, preferably. Man, this sucks. This is such a Dark Souls 1 moment. Or just a Dark Souls moment in general, I suppose. But I guess fair is fair, right? Let's try out the Winged Spear here, why not? We are going to fight opponents in a very linear arena, so the spear would excel here. How much damage are we dealing with the spear, by the way? 430, that's not bad. That's not bad damage, it's quite good actually. Could you not throw knives at me, please? I would thank you if you didn't do that. You can't parry that. Yeah. No chance. Thank you for the throwing knives. Down he goes. Wait, the elevator still works, isn't it? It does work. It does work, but the lever to make it work is on the other side. It's on the palace side. And since Anorlondo is now dark, the game defaults to always making me spawn on the main Anorlondo bonfire, which is on the other side of the bridge. And the elevator was down when I died, which means I now have to do this again to get to the other side so that I can raise the elevator again. Either that or I'm stupid and there is a lever somewhere on this side which can raise the elevator, but I don't recall there being one. I don't think there is one. More throwing knives. I did play to the level, of course, since I have already defeated Ornstein and Smo, but I lowered it so that I could get to the Guinevere, damn it, Gwendolyn bonfire. And I didn't raise it again, you know? A very hyper-specific thing to happen, like multiple things had to happen in the correct order for this scenario to happen. So now I can pull this lever and raise the bridge once again. And we can actually see the Dark Moon Knights down there. He's waiting for us, you know. The intended experience would be for us to walk outside, you know. Walk out of the palace and meet her, but We kind of died on the way, you know. So now we are here, and we can lower the bridge again. Or rather, the rotating platform, so that it sits on bridge level again. Yeah, that sucks. It's hyper specific, but it can happen. She will be using a one-handed sword, so let's challenge her with our lightning sword. A proper duo, you know. What up?
So it was you, was it?
Yeah.
How dare you produce a blade upon a deity? How did you ever get this far? I shall end your suffering here and now. It is the least that I can do.
She's not even looking at me. Can I lock onto you? Okay, so lock on range is severely reduced. Okay, there we go. I mean, don't mind if I do, right? Oh, that's half your health. Are you okay? You're gonna heal? No, you're not. Not gonna heal. She is shield poking without a shield. Can I kick you? I wanna parry her. Come on. What are you doing? Yeah, no. Sorry.
This is a threat, Master Gwendolyn.
F. Firekeeper Soul, and I believe her soul has a unique description, right? A Firekeeper Soul is drawn for humanity, and held within their bosoms, below just a thin layer of skin, are swarms of humanity that writhe and squirm. Her brass armor serves to disguise this ghastly form. So just the last line is unique, I believe. So let's go get our souls back. Nice, thanks Cindy. The enemies here don't respawn, apparently. Okay, so we got our souls back. I was talking earlier about the enemies which despawn. As you guys can see, the giant sentinels are not here anymore. The flesh demons over here, they are still here though. So that's an interesting way to know. Oh, they are not here. What? What? They are not here. Okay, so these guys were illusions too. Yeah, they were illusions. Interesting. I think just some Silver Knights stay behind, right? But the giant sentinels disappear and the flesh demons too, apparently. So we can infer from that these enemies were not real. They were just illusions created by Gwendolyn and somehow powered by the illusion of Guinevere. There is a lot of debate on the internet, and it's one of the oldest debates, you know, as to how this whole illusion stuff works, you know. And it might be a case of the story had to take a back seat in order for gameplay to make sense. Because the most believed theory, the most believed story is that Ornstein, or at least the Ornstein we fight here in Anor Londo, isn't real either. Smo is real, but Ornstein isn't. And the reason for that, of course, is that there seems to be some evidence that Ornstein left Anor Londo. We do fight a Dragon Slayer boss in Dark Souls 2, of course. Although if you ask me, that's not Ornstein, that's a copy of Ornstein. And for me, Dark Souls 2 itself is not real, it's all a dream, it's all some sort of illusion. But there is some evidence in Dark Souls 3 that Ornstein actually left the capital and went searching for the Nameless King, who is heavily implied to be Gwyn's firstborn. Anor Londo residents supposed to have lightning resistant, but it seems not. Maybe thing happens to Izalith's demons. Maybe the same thing happens to Izalith demons. You mean because the Dark Moon Knightess took half her HP in damage from a lightning spear? I mean, resistance does not mean immune, right? And that's a great lightning spear, which is quite powerful. So some damage is still expected. But the giant sentinels do have some lightning resistance. And the brass armor actually has, you know, good lightning resistance. The element brass itself is meant to be a very lightning resistant metal, which is the same metal used both for the Dark Moon Knightess armor and also for the Giant's set, the Giant Sentinel set. But anyway, like I was saying, there seems to be some debate because people have always wondered, if Ornstein isn't real, then why does he drop a soul when we kill him? Why can we, you know, get his soul and forge his weapon? And why can we get his ring as well, you know? If you fight him last, if you defeat... Am I saying Smo? I mean Ornstein. If Ornstein isn't real, why do we get his ring, right? If you defeat Smo first. Now, this could be a case of don't think too much about it, you know, it's just... It would be boring for the player to not get any rewards for defeating Ornstein as Mo, so they had to make him drop something. Or, the way I see it is, the ring is here, the Leo ring is here in Anor Londo. And possibly, Gwyndolin used his ring as a catalyst to make a more tangible illusion. People also seem to question, why do the Giant Sentinels drop items or souls if they are also illusions? And I think that's quite easy to explain lore-wise. One could just say that these are very tangible illusions because Gwyndolin put a lot of effort into it. They are not just created by Gwyndolin, they were tied to the fake Guinevere somehow, which is why they disappear if you defeat, or rather if you attack Guinevere, you know. BS keepers make players confused by that Ornstein. Yeah. It is quite confusing indeed. Like, who is the real Ornstein, you know? Where is the real Ornstein? I don't actually think we have ever seen the real Ornstein ever in any game. The one we fight here is an illusion. The one in Dark Souls 2 is just a copy, you know? Imitation. And in Dark Souls 3, we find his armor, but we never do find him. He may or may not be a dragon or a drake. He may have ascended into the form of a drake. And who knows, he may or may not be the drake which the Nameless King rides during his boss battle. Who knows? Hello, Tiba. Welcome to the stream, man. Man or gal. Tiba, sorry, Stiba. Stiba2 G for you. We are doing the Dark Souls 1 Lorethrough and we are about to fight Gwyndolin. Which reminds me. Yes, let's use this, the Crest Shield. Let's go Ultra Kill, shall we? I don't have the blue Stoneplate Ring. That's okay. Yeah, let's go with this. Okay. This should do, this should do. Magic resistance, because this boy likes to use magic.
Heretic.
11 humanity is a little greedy. I mean, I gotta farm, right? I was farming for Dragon Scales just now. I needed those.
See fit to trample upon the tomb of the great Lord. I am the dark sun, Gwyndolin. Let the atonement for thy felonies commence.
Now, man, your atonement shall commence. I'm gonna teach you to use magic. Okay, so what's that? He's immediately teleporting away. Outward. We can't just hide behind pillars for this one, right? Ow, ow, ow. Don't do that. Okay, that one I should dodge. That's big damage. Okay, that's no damage, man. Right? Gotcha. Oh, the damage though. The damage. My spell has worn off. I'm gonna read chat in just a moment. Ouch. Oh, that broke our guard and dealt no damage. That's arrows, okay. This attack is an easy punish. Strong attack? Yes, nice. Oh, damage. Half his HP. Arrows. More arrows. Okay, he's gonna teleport, so... Okay. Need more stamina. Out of Great Magic Barrier casts. Should be okay though, we still have the Crest Shield. Oh, that's significant more damage though, we should be careful. Okay, that's a punish. That's a heavy punish. That should be it? Yeah. That's it.
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
GG. I didn't even know you could kindle bonfires. Yeah, it's not properly explained to the player, is it? Can we equip the Silver Serpent Ring? Okay, I think I got it in time. Where's my souls? Where's my souls game? There we go, 48,000. I could have equipped the Mimic Head as well, but I forgot about it. Okay though. Yeah, a lot of Dark Souls 1 is not properly explained to the player, right? And by a lot, I mean like more than half of it. Both gameplay and story. But that's part of the fun, I guess. Uchiha is trying to remind himself or herself of a hypothesis, a theory. You mean about Ornstein? That's what we were talking about earlier. But yeah, lots of confusion as to what is real and what is not, and how do the illusions even work, you know? We do have other examples of illusion magic in the series. Things like the illusory walls and pinwheels illusions as well. Those don't drop souls, and they also vanish after one hit. Gwendolyn being a very powerful illusion caster, I think it's safe to say that his illusions would be more tangible, they would be more powerful, you know. But yeah, this is the tomb of Lord Gwyn. So that's a very lore significant place. Of course, this is a symbolic tomb because Gwyn himself isn't here. We know that. He has gone off to rekindle the first flame. I have an empty chest. What that is meant to represent, you know, your guess is as good as mine. This, however, is quite interesting. So Gwendolyn was here. And we have this very fancy chair here. So I think the implication here is this man basically spent the rest of his life mourning his father, you know. Just sitting here beside his father's empty tomb, empty grave, mourning his absent father. One of the many examples of Dark Souls storytelling. Environmental storytelling, that is. In here we have the Miracle Sunlight Blade, which was left behind by the other male son of Gwyn. Miracle wielded by Lord Gwyn's firstborn boosts right weapon with rays of sun. The power of sunlight manifested as lightning is very effective against dragons. When the eldest son was stripped of his deific status, excuse me, English.exe stopped working. Deific status. He left this on his father's coffin, perhaps as a final farewell. There we go. So this was left behind by the nameless king. And I believe we also get the brass set in here. Yeah, there we go. I'm fine with the story not being explained to the player. Yeah, that's true, man. That's a very honest opinion. True. Not properly explaining gameplay to the player is unnecessarily frustrating sometimes. To be fair, I feel like a lot of the discovery in Dark Souls happens also in the gameplay department. Not only in story, you know, but there is also this sense of mastering the game little by little. But I think that there's a fair argument to be made that it was a bit overdone with Dark Souls 1. Can't really say much for Dark Souls 2 and 3. Dark Souls 2 is a mess when it comes to teaching the player. I think it has a very bad example of early levels, you know, the early enemies you fight in Dark Souls 2 don't really do a good job of teaching you how to play, unlike Dark Souls 1. And I can't really say much for Dark Souls 3, honestly. It was the last game that I played, and by the time I played the third game, I kinda knew what to expect already, so I don't know how a new player would react playing Dark Souls 3. My guess is they would play some of the other two games first. And on YouTube, Uchiha said, I think Ornstein goes searching for the Nameless King, convinced him back to reclaim Anor Londo, and got killed on the way. Maybe by the Nameless King himself. Do you believe the Nameless King was on his way back to Anor Londo? Interesting. We do fight him in the Dragon Temple, right? We can equip our bow, nice. Might as well check if we can ascend our bow. Where is the Catacombs bonfire? Here we go. We do fight the Nameless King in the Dragon Sanctuary in Dark Souls 3. Which is implied to be this very removed area. You kinda have to perform a ritual to get summoned there. Who knows, maybe he tried to come back and gave up halfway there. Can we ascend my firebow? Yes, I can. Let's say firebow plus 6 now. And we can keep upgrading it. That's nice. Okay, I need 2 more red titanite chunks. Which I may or may not get on this playthrough, we'll see. Right, some interesting lore tidbits in chat. Yeah, I feel like in Dark Souls 1, answering please chat right now, they were perfecting the formula, you know? Because Dark Souls 1, for as great as it is, it does have some kind of bullshit moments, right? I think one of the biggest examples being the dragon on the bridge, which a lot of try-hard fans aren't ready to admit this, but it's kind of bullshit, right? How we get burned alive by the dragon out of nowhere. After defeating the Taurus demon, that is, you know. No warning, just bam, dead. Which makes for a cool cinematic moment, I suppose, but kind of a frustrating video game moment. But they were perfecting the formula, you know. I give this game, you know, the benefit of the doubt. And thank you for the follow, by the way, I forgot to say thank you. I don't have alerts on yet, I will get those ready, you know, for the next stream, hopefully. The skeleton blacksmith guy always cracks me up. Yeah, his voice is funny, isn't it? Yeah, his voice lines are kind of weird. They don't really match the tone of the game, I think. But it kind of grew on me, honestly. I can't really imagine him with any other voice by now. And Uchiha thinks the Nameless King may have... Excuse me, I'm reading chat. How dare you? I took no damage from that. Standing here, I realize... Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me, my mind went elsewhere for a moment. You can't hurt me, Hollow. Anyway. Uchiha seems to think the Nameless King was Hollow when Ornstein met him. It's a funny thing, right? We do fight many enemies which look hollow. Gwyn himself, if we take a close look at his face, he looks hollowed, right? But here's the thing, now that we understand what hollowing is, how does that work? How do enemies which are not human go hollow? Because hollowing is the inner darkness of humanity going wild and trying to break free. Basically forcing its way through to the surface. That's what hollowing is, you know. The seal around humanity starts to weaken and humanity's true nature begins to break its way to the surface. That's what hollowing is. Gwyn isn't human, so why does he look hollow? The Nameless King also isn't human, so how does he go hollow, right? They don't have dark, as far as we know.
I thought pay you back plenty.
One of those things that still makes me scratch my head, honestly. So let's buy some fire arrows. 90 should be okay for now.
Much obliged.
Alright. There's a lot of bullshit in Dark Souls 1. But they're perhaps, for good reason, looked over. Yeah, Dark Souls 1 basically set a standard, right? And it's not a perfect game by a long shot. It does show its age in a few areas. But man, is it a good game? An amazing game. And it aged quite well, I would say. I would dare say, you know, it aged very well. Sure, it's a bit rough around the edges, but... I mean, we can see this in all of the players which have played Elden Ring first. And then they make these Elden Ring players play Dark Souls for the first time videos, and they all seem to love this game. So it's one of those cases where, yeah, it's old, you know, you can tell that it's a bit old. In a few areas it didn't age well, but in most of its areas, the areas that really matter, man, it aged very well. It's a reason why it started a whole genre, right? It's why we have the term Souls-like today. Which I don't like, by the way. Not a huge fan of the whole Souls-like thing. Another person on chat, welcome by the way. That's so obvious, from the dark they came. They're all used to be hollow, says Uchiha on YouTube. Man, that's kinda true. That's kinda, you know, it. That's it, isn't it? They used to be all the same beings, right? Before they became different beings, before they were separated, they used to be the same thing. Damn. Kinda obvious, but kinda blew my mind anyway. That's kinda true. So maybe there is a very small fragment of dark within all of them. Humans just have more of it, because the furtive pygmy gave them a fragment of the dark soul. Maybe that's it. So where are we off to now? The reason why we defeated Gwendolyn now is because I want this right here. The Sunlight Blade Miracle. Most of our weapons are not buffable. We are using, for the most part, elemental infused weapons, but this little toy right here, this beautiful toy right here, this little baby is buffable, as you can see. So that's pure physical damage plus a buff on top of it. 789 damage. Damn. As someone would say on the internet, as a certain someone would say, that's a lot of damage. That is indeed a lot of damage. And we are going to use that on Manus. So that's the Ulasil Township Dungeon. Let's go. 780 damage, and my build is not finished, by the way. I'm aiming for 50 points in Faith, because that's, you know, the ideal breakpoint for a pure caster build, a pure Faith build. I think the context of wider gaming, it's aged very well, yeah. Exactly, man, I agree. Triple gaming has become extremely formulaic. I think it's I guess a symptom of games becoming more and more popular and more lucrative to make. People will start playing it safe, you know. Dark Souls 1 was still made in a time where developers weren't playing it safe because they were, you know, they wanted to try new things. They were not afraid of trying new things. Sadly, it's something rare nowadays. Which ironically is also why I don't like the Souls-like genre. I feel like most of the games in this genre kinda copy and paste some of the superficial elements of Dark Souls. But they fail to realize, you know, the deeper elements which make Dark Souls what it is. So it's kinda like this weird copy which doesn't really feel like Dark Souls. I have tried to play some of them, honestly. Some of the 2D games too. Things like Blasphemous, for example. Have you all played Blasphemous, by the way? It's a Metroidvania Souls-like, which seems to be, you know, on fashion nowadays too. Another thing which confused players. Yeah, if Hollow is what you are from the start, why there is a Hollow curse from Gwyn? But the thing is, Gwyn didn't really put a curse which makes you go hollow, rather it sealed away your hollowing. What Gwyn made is this. Right now I am hollow, right? I'm undead looking. This is what Gwyn made. Or did, I should say. What the lords made. This right here. Humans are not supposed to look like this. You know, the concept of humanity as we understand it. This is a farce, this is fake, you know. A fake form, a form which is not real, created by Gwyn. And humans were basically fooled into thinking this is what they are meant to be, this is what they are. When in reality, they were hollow from the beginning. The scary thought is the hollow form we have in the games, the form you assume when you die, may not be true humanity either. True humanity, what humans were before they were cursed by Gwyn, that may actually be lost forever, you know. What we have in the game when you die, your hollow form, is actually your true nature twisting its way to the surface to the point where it becomes deformed, where it becomes corrupted. True humanity, humanity's true original nature, as they were before the Age of Gods, that may actually be lost forever. I don't think we have ever seen that in the entire franchise. Which is terrifying to think about. Imagine the closest thing you can get to your true nature is some deformed, corrupted form of it. And then you would start to understand why some hollows go mad, you know? Why some hollows go insane. Deep stuff and dark stuff, indeed. Manus is another form of dark, so-called the Abyss. Yeah, the Abyss is another thing which is never explicitly explained to us, but it does seem to be related with the original Dark, because in Dark Souls 3, the enemies in the Ringed City DLC, I think they are called Ringed Knights. They are meant to be proto-humans, you know, very old humans. humans which helped win in the war against the dragons, presumably before they had their humanity sealed away, right? And they wear abyssal weapons and abyssal armor. So the original humans were very in tie with the abyss. Whatever the abyss is, you know, it seems to be something which can spawn from humanity sometimes. So there's some confusion in there. And once again, I agree with Stiba on the Twitch chat. No. Indie games, that's where it's at right now. Although, to be fair, we do see a lot of indie games starting to play it safe as well. I guess making the transition into AAA would be a good way to say it, you know? Which is one big irony, isn't it? As indie games become more popular and as they start to sell more, they become a business. And as they become a business, they start to play it safe. Oh yeah. It's a cycle. Bam. One-shot the lizard. Just like the Age of Fire, you know, one day the flames will fade. And only dark will remain. Ouch. Damn caster. Sniping me from afar, how dare he. Okay, that thing tracks. I don't like that. Do it again. Nope. Not this time. Do I have the talisman equipped? I don't. Again? Okay. Where's the talisman? Here we go. Oh. Do it again. I dare you. No? Yeah, I thought so. That's what I thought. Okay, let's be aggressive here. Oh, nice. Counter damage. Not counter damage, because that wasn't a thrust attack, right? That was instability frames, I think. Would you not dodge? Thank you. Yeah, no thank you. What's this? Titanite? Do it. Do it. And now you're dead. There we go. Jeff, have you played Disco Elysian? Can't say that I have, though I have heard about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 2D game, right? One of those Metroidvania, those like 2D games. Now I got Uchiha confused with his theory. Yeah, sorry, man. But Dark Souls lore is confusing, you know? And fascinating. Now, as I understand, the dark sign is basically a seal. This thing we have right here, Uchiha. It's a seal of fire, and it's all symbolic, right? The ringed city is a circular city, meant to seal away humanity. The dark sign is a ring of light. Quite literally, a ring of light which seals away darkness. So, all humans have dark. Humanity is a fragment of the Dark Soul. The humanity items we consume, they are sprites of the Dark Soul. Ouch. And this darkness that all humans have is sealed away by this ring of fire, this ring of light, which is the dark sign. I don't think the dark sign is meant to be visible. Lore-wise, it's something that is visible on your body as a human. It's not meant to be visible. It appears once it begins to weaken, actually. Once the seal begins to weaken, it becomes visible. And then humans are like, oh, it's the sign of the curse. You have been branded by the curse. Actually, this brand had always been there. It's just that as it grows weaker, it becomes visible. And then your true nature as a human starts to leak out into the surface. Let's run away. Oh no. Illusory grounds. You had heard about illusory walls. Now get ready for illusory rounds as well. That was funnier in my head. Anyway. Ouch. Humanity. Yay. These enemies are quite peculiar too, aren't they? They are literally fragments of humanity. Maybe these guys are the original humans, you know. Maybe that's humanity's true form, or that's just humanity outside the body, basically. I highly recommend it. It's the only game I've played as well written as a good book. Man, that's crazy actually. I would say Dark Souls is as well written as a good book, but try it out if you need something to play. I will try it out. I will at some point. I'm gonna add it to my list, you know. Oh, that's Alvina. That's the cat from the Dark Root Garden, whom we haven't met on this playthrough, I think. Now that I think about it. We will though, we will meet her later. And that's her over there as well. She seems to be showing us the way. What is she trying to show us though? Let's find out. It's hard to measure spacing against these guys. They look weird. Okay, she disappeared. Right next to this wall here. We're gonna check it out in a moment. Yeah, they have a lot of HP, don't they? Oh, you are approaching me. Out of here. Get out of here. So Alvina showed us this wall, and we have a player message, of course, pointing us to a hidden passage here. Bam. It's a illusory wall. Shout out to Illusory Wall, the content creator. Without him, I would never have understood things like soft humanity or vagrants, you know. And we seem to have something shining in the darkness over there. Surrounded by dark sprites of humanity. So let's defeat these guys. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, I thought it was attacking me somehow. Okay. That's the great grey wolf Sif, of course. In its puppy form, you know, a small form. And off she goes. Be free. Be free, my girl. See you later. The cleansing great shield. Let's check this out. The steel great shield used by Knight Artorias, who succumbed to the Abyss. Artorias, deeply scarred by the Abyss, used this to form a barrier to protect his compatriot Sif. Although this drained the shield, its magic defense remains high. So this is the OG Artorias Great Shield. It was drained of its magic, unfortunately. In order to protect Sif. We are going to summon Sif for the boss fight against Manus. Just because it's cool, you know. Because I'm trying to recreate a history here. We are supposed to follow in the footsteps of Artorias and do what he was meant to do. Oh, speaking of which, I should unlock this shortcut over here. But basically, we are fixing the timeline. Artorias himself failed to defeat Manus. We are gonna do it, so it's only fitting we summon Sif to help us. And there we go, shortcut unlocked. all the way over here. Yeah, Steve, I guess compared to things like The Lord of the Rings, right? I guess Dark Souls lore is quite short. I think it looks very grand because it's extremely complex. You can talk about it for hours and hours, which is what I usually do. But you can talk about it for hours and hours and leave the conversation with more questions than you had initially, you know, because it's extremely, extremely complex. But yeah, compared to large fantasy series like Game of Thrones and The Lord of the Rings, you know, which have entire ages and civilizations past, yeah, it's not that big. I think even other games like the Elder Scrolls franchise, that game has some crazy lore, you know. My cat is walking about, chat, don't mind her. You might have heard a meow in the background. That's her. She wants to go by the window, but the window is closed because there's some noise outside. I'll let her go out later. Another head. Bloated sorcerer head. That's the second one we get, isn't it? But yeah, Elder Scrolls has some crazy lore. Crazy lore. Humanity. I am also a fan of the Elder Scrolls, by the way, so you can expect to see some Skyrim, Oblivion, maybe some Morrowind contents over here. And the Elder Scrolls 6 contents, you know, in the next 30 or 40 years or so, when it finally gets released, that is. If it does get released, of course, it might not be real. Might be just a hoax. Who knows? Who knows? What am I talking about? There is no Elder Scrolls 6. My internet is down. Our internet is down, you mean Cindy. We have the same internet. We live together. That's the channel's artist, by the way, everybody. Also known as my wife. Feel free to check the channel's links. There's a link for her arts channel in the description as well. All of the overlays and all of our YouTube art is made by her, by the way. So shoutouts to her. There's a fair argument to be made. Yeah, the thing is, when speaking about story, like, a game's gameplay is part of the story, right? I've always find this funny, actually, when players will say things like, I don't care about story, I just want to have fun. But then you catch them saying, man, this character is so cool, I like playing as this character. And I'm like, bro, that's you enjoying the story. There is no such thing as saying, I don't care about the story, I just want to play the game, you know, just the gameplay. And then you say things like, man, this boss is so badass. That's you enjoying the story. That's you being affected by the game's story. A game's story is in the gameplay, it's in the level design, it's in the sound design. It's in the enemy placement, the gameplay, everything. I think I said gameplay twice. You get the idea. Let's go Cindy. Thanks for the hype, man. I'm sure she'll be happy for that. Right now, she's trying to calm down our cat. As you can probably hear in the background. I think she's hungry. She's getting some food right now. Every single time she starts meowing. As if she had never seen food in her life, you know. Even though she ate like 30 minutes ago or something. But that's just cats for you, right? That's just how cats behave, I guess. I'm trying to find the spot where we get... There is one of the wood engravings down here, right? One of these. Where are they? The carvings, yeah. There is a wood carving down here, right? But I can't remember where it is. I get the idea, yeah. Video games are awesome, is what I'm trying to say, which is why we are playing one right now. One of the best ones, I would say. One of the big ones, you know. In the future, once humanity has been gone from this planet and once aliens find the remains of our civilization and they find out we played these things called video games, I hope they find this game right here, you know. This as one of them, of course. And then also the Elder Scrolls and possibly, I don't know, things like Resident Evil or Elden Ring or... Man, I'm not gonna start. Don't even get me started, yeah. Are the wood carvings just for trolling in multiplayer? I guess they are a form of communication, right? Not necessarily trolling, but Dark Souls doesn't have a chat, and there is no voice chat either, so... That's, you know, how you communicate with other players. You drop these down. Awesome. DMC, that's right, Cindy. DMC, Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry, yeah. That's one of the games the aliens have to play for sure. Imagine trying to get this conversation out of context. What games should the aliens play, chat? What do you think? What games should the aliens play? Devil May Cry, that's for sure. Not 2 though. If Devil May Cry 2 gets lost in history... And do I want that? Do I want Devil May Cry 2 to disappear? Like, it doesn't add anything to the story, but at the same time, it's part of a much grander story, you know. And that's a tough one. That is a tough one. There is a multiplayer, players will find a way to communicate, that's true. Players always find a way. But I still think it was nice to give them another way to communicate. Raising your shield as a sign that the PvP may commence, you know, in Dark Souls is a nice example, I guess. I've never played Devil May Cry actually, so let that be my recommendation to you. Devil May Cry is awesome. It's a very, very unique experience, especially if you play the very first one, Devil May Cry 1. That game challenges genre because it follows some of the old Resident Evil formula. So things like fixed camera angle depending on where you are on the level, and somewhat janky controls, but it also tries to be an action game. And it actually does very well at being an action game. Devil May Cry 1 has a lot of fighting game elements for some reason. You have to consider stuff like frame data and attack animations and so forth. Here is the wood carving. Yeah, there we go. Help me. Very fittingly placed on a body which is hanging from a ledge. So yeah. And I believe we have already explored down there, have we? Haven't we? Yeah, that's where we got the Black Flame Pyromancy, I think. I played through the Metal Gear Solid series. That is one game which, admittedly, I haven't played yet, but I would like to. Culturally important games, that's a nice way to put it, you know. Games which have defined their genre. Games which aliens should play. Once they get to Earth, you know. I want aliens to play Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, and I want them to think forever after that Brazilians can double jump. Which they can, by the way. People in my country can double jump, everybody knows that. It's easy. All Brazilians can double jump. It's the insinuation that he yelled help for so long. Yeah, that's it. got carved into a near lying piece of wood. Yeah, there we go. He was desperately yelling for help. That is actually an interesting implication, isn't it? These wood carvings made by Goth, they absorb feelings basically. He imparts a different feeling onto each carving, so that guy was holding on to one of these, and he was so desperate for help, which his pleads for help got carved into the wood, you know? Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Brazilians can double jump, man. There you go. That's your new knowledge for today. Some of us can triple jump, but honestly that's kind of a gimmick. In the current meta, most would say that's wasted skill points, you know. But it is useful depending on where you live in Brazil, you know. Some areas are quite difficult to traverse. If you live in the center west of Brazil, you might run into people who are speccing into the triple jump skill. But it's not common. Anyway. Brazil lore for you guys. There you go. Brazilian lore. You thought you were getting some Dark Souls lore only, but you're getting Brazil lore as well. What the? Get back here. Get back here. Why are you backing away? Damn it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's stop yapping for a second and let's get to Manus. Let's fight Manus. Could I fight Manus right now? I suppose we can, right? We have the buff. I don't have that many souls on me, so there's nothing to lose, really. I think we can do it right now. Queen Humanities. Campeão do mundo, indeed, man. 5 times in a row and then never again, sadly. Never again. Let's not try to... Or rather, let's not talk about the last attempt which was made here in Brazil, you know. The one game against Germany, but we don't talk about that, yeah. Anyway. I don't actually like soccer, by the way. To be perfectly honest, I don't actually like soccer. Not all Brazilians like soccer. What do we have here? Ah, that's what I was looking for actually, the white titanite slab. So we can fully upgrade our halberd, right? Is that it? Yeah, our occult halberd. Talking about story, there is a Legacy of Kain series. Man, I need to play that one as well. There's so many games which I haven't played, sadly. But I have seen some videos talking about the story, the plot of the Legacy of Kain. It's an awesome game. I do like vampire games as well, so... I feel like I would like the Legacy of Kain as well. There is a gameplay mechanic in my life. Yeah, there you go, man. Exactly. The how do we say, enemy random encounter rate goes up. And there is some debate as to whether or not the chances go up or you just get a debuff which makes you perceive these encounters more often, as being more often, you know. But I guess the developers haven't properly explained that one yet, so we don't really know how that works. But yeah. Sucks, I know. Hello from Sweden, by the way. Hello. Hello, Sweden. Brazil says hello. Soul of a hero. Fitting. We have a hero who fought his way all the way into the entrance, or rather to the entrance of Mundus's lair and was defeated. Dry ranged battle, yeah. As you guys can probably see all the way down there. We have some eyes, you know, some red eyes in the darkness. Shining in the darkness. And that's Manus. You can actually snipe him from outside the fog gate. I think you need the hawk ring to do that. Never actually did that myself. I might play some sort of archer build at some point and do that. I might try that at some point. The great hero souls are some of the most tragic ones. Yeah, it's another example of Dark Souls lore, environmental storytelling, which is, I think, you know, objectively, it's one of its strongest points, you know. The environmental storytelling in this game is awesome. Which kind of has to be, right? Because we don't have cutscenes in this game. I mean, we have boss cutscenes, but that's just to make the boss look cool. We don't really have cutscenes which tell you about the game. All of the game is told through text or environmental storytelling. You get brain fog, yeah, the damn brain fog debuff. So I think we are ready for Manus, chat. Are you ready, everybody? Are you all ready? Let me remove this from my hotbar. No. Keep only my Estus and my... What's it called now? My silver pendant. Can I? Yeah, no, I can't. So no light crossbow. So we are not doing any ranged on this boss fight, except for the Great Lightning Spears. Manus is one of the bosses which actually does give you some openings to cast spells as well, so we can throw some Lightning Spears his way. Have I fixed my weapon? I haven't. I have, yeah, okay, that's okay. Let's do this. Let's fight the Father of the Abyss, everybody. Cutscene? Yeah, cutscene. Sip from my coffee. Got cold already, but that's okay. Alright, let's do this. Okay, that's a sweep attack. What else? What else do we have? Okay, that's too early, damn it. Yeah, can't punish if I get hit. Good. Tries to punish my heal when we can punish his attempts. Oh, okay. Ouch. That's an easy punish. Yeah, keep doing that. Should stay away. Damn it. Why am I getting hit by that? Our buff has run out, unfortunately. Okay. We have secret weakness though, don't we? Look at that. Not this time. I was not ready for that. Do it again. That's the... yeah. The one which comes from above. I'm gonna summon Sif, just because it's cool, like I said. Where is it? There we go. Okay, that's a lightning spear chance. Decent damage. Yep. I meant to share, that's okay. Damn it. Oh. No, 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 no. Not what I tried to do. I am messing this up. Ah, damn it. That's dangerous. That's the shotgun attack. That's dangerous. Go see. Okay, that's the combo attack. Let's punish that. What? He dodged. Oh, nice. Right. Again. Not this time, buddy. Gotcha. No combo. Yeah, there. Nice. First try. I am a greedy bastard, so yeah. Thank you, Sif. 86k souls. Yeah, let's take this off. Whatever. Whatever ring. And we did it. First try, although it was a very easy boss fight, to be honest. Didn't feel that challenging. Didn't feel earned anyway, like I made a lot of mistakes. I do have a clean Manus boss fight on my YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out. If only to, you know, fix my ego a little bit, because I'm not happy with this boss fight right here. One of my favorite lore aspects is the meta-narrative. Yeah, that's another very great point. The whole your character goes hollow when you give up thing, you know. That's another very interesting aspect. Kinda gets lost a little bit as we go deeper into the lore. Because in Dark Souls 1, there was this idea of this curse, and if you suffer a mental breakdown, if you give up, that's when you go hollow. And then as the series went on and we got into the whole thing about humanity's true nature and yada yada yada, I think we drifted away from that. But I still think that's a very interesting analogy. Your character goes hollow if you give up, if you put down the controller. GG, thanks chat, thank you. Have you got the flipping ring in the Murakumo? I don't think I have. I haven't visited the forest on this playthrough yet. Which actually reminds me that I need to do that, because I don't have the Covenant of Artorias. I said earlier that all that I need to do is defeat Gwendolyn and then Gwyn. That was a lie, actually. I still have to defeat Sif, the wolf, not the dragon. Sif, not Sif. English is weird. Anyway. And obviously I need the Covenant of Artorias so that I can defeat the 4 kings. And then after I do that, I will get to fight Gwyn to finish the game. Of course, we are getting the unique Sif cutscene because we did the DLC first. So there is that. And we also have Princess Dusk down here. She was dropped by Manus as she was defeated. And there we go. That's all she has to say, chat. I hope you liked it. Kinda like the idea of defeating Manus with a greatsword. So, Dusk having mixed memories and still thinking that it was Artorias who saved her is interesting. Kinda makes sense, you know. Flipping ring is fun. Yeah, I have never used the flipping ring on this game, which is a crime, I know, but I don't usually play light rolling builds. I tend to play medium rolling builds. I've got to play some sort of ninja character at some point to do that. Where is my giant armor? Let's go helm and gauntlets. There we go. More defense. More HP as well. 35 point in vitality. That's nice. Do I have more inventory souls? I do have some. Let's see if we can get another level here. I need 52k, I believe. We should have enough, right? That's 50k. Just a little bit more. Okay, should be enough. No, I need 57k. Never mind. Never mind. Alright. Let's speak to the mushroom lady. What's her name again? Elizabeth? I think that's it, right? Let's speak to her now that we have saved Dusk.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all.
And we get some Elizabeth mushrooms.
I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us. Not long ago, I had another visitor, a human like thyself, from a faraway time. Only he was dreadfully odious, and I'm afraid that he is still amongst us. He wore a hat and a long black coat.
The Serpent Greatsword. This one I have used, I believe, in a strength character I played all the way back in Prepare to Die edition. I think it's like the best strength greatsword in the game, right?
Was that
That's repeated dialogue, alright.
May the flames guide thee.
May the flames guide thee, alright. Builds which I don't really play often are pure intelligence builds. I have tried, but I get bored quickly of playing pure casters. Just going pew 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 at everything kinda loses its charm very quickly. And I think that's it really. I have played full dex builds as well. I have played pyro builds. Not pure pyro, but, you know, melee pyro. And one pure strength build in Dark Souls 1, and that was it. That was kinda it. How can we get some quick, you know, 5k souls? Can I kill some enemies in the Tulasil township, maybe? Just so we get a level, because walking around with 50k souls on me kinda bothers me. Let's do this quickly. Put our helm back on. There's an enemy here, right? Yeah. Excuse me. Goodbye. Now, where was I? Here we go. My spider sense was tingling, you know, chat. I could feel the enemy's presence. Also, I could hear him. What up, boys? Goodbye. That's not a lot. 800. Man, these guys don't give a lot of souls. I was hoping for more, actually. Dang it. Dang it. I could go to the painted world, but that's a pain in the ass, right? Then I have to make my way back to Priscilla's arena and jump off of the bridge. That's no fun. So let me equip the Silver Serpent Ring real quick. I know this is extremely stingy of me, maybe, but I just want to be efficient, you know? Maybe it's more of a, you know, OCD thing, like I have to spend these souls. Why am I not getting a one-shot on these guys? Okay, this should be enough, right? Has to be enough. Let's get to one more enemy. Chaos Murakumo is strong. It's a weapon with very high base damage, right? So I'm guessing elemental infusions on it would be very good. It requires something like 24 strength, right? So I think I could use it on this character if I use it two-handed. I might try it. I might, you know, give it a try. Probably on this second run on New Game Plus, because I don't think I have enough resources to properly upgrade it still on this run. Not without farming. Or is it Serpent Greatsword you're talking about? Serpent Greatsword is strong. It's also strong, right? Both of these are. But I guess this Serpent Greatsword relies more on scaling, so may not work too well with an infusion, I think. Let's upgrade Sanctus, why not? Plus 10. It only takes shards, which are easy to find. Alright. What time is it anyway? It is 18:39. So we have been streaming for 1 hour and 40 minutes. What to do, what to do. So here's the thing. We already have the Crest of Artorias, don't we? I bought it earlier in this playthrough. Crest of Artorias opens the door in the forest, the sealed door in the forest. I am honestly getting a bit tired though, chat. I might end the stream here, I think. Kinda forgot to take my break today. Usually I take a break, you know, halfway through the stream, but I was too much into it, you know, this time. I sure had fun though. It was a very fun stream. My very first stream on both Twitch and YouTube, by the way. I had been streaming on YouTube before, but this one was my first on Twitch. Quite fun. And I have a D&D session to plan as well. Damn it, I just remembered that. Do you guys play D&D, or have you ever played D&D, by the way? Good old Dungeons and Dragons. Tabletop RPG. It was really fun, it was indeed, Cindy. Thanks for helping, Cindy. Keeping our cat busy during the stream. You were quite helpful. So I'm gonna make our way to the bonfire, just outside the door here, the sealed door. Although I might have to make my way back to Anor Londo anyway, because I want to forge myself a boss weapon. Well, we'll see. We will start the next stream right here, just outside this door right here. And then Plans for the next stream is to defeat Sif, get the Covenant of Artorias, and maybe defeat the 4 kings as well. And then we'll see, maybe we'll defeat Gwyn on the next stream as well. So let's sit down in here. I am human though. Entering the forest right now would be an interesting experience, that's for sure. PvP forest, also known as the Wood of Ganks. The legendary Wood of Gank, the Gank Wood. That's an experience, that's always an interesting experience. But yeah. So, let's see if I can still recall my hotkeys. I believe I can. Yeah, there we go. They are working. That was fun, chat. That was very fun. I'm used to being a bad fighter and a badass rogue in D&D. Man, that's nice. So you have some experience with D&D. I will be streaming for the very first time. I'll be playing, GMing more specifically, for the very first time ever. Do I need to fix the chat for my, what's it called, end screen as well? Let me do that real quick. 1 second, please. There. It's working. And I can now watch the stream through Twitch, so I can see both chats at the same time. That's nice. But yeah, I'll actually be DMing. DMing? Dungeon Master? Yeah, DMing my very first D&D game. Today. We are doing the session 0 today. So wish me luck. But it should be fun. All of the players are new players as well. We have 4 people watching on Twitch. How many people on YouTube? 2 people watching on YouTube. That's nice. That's good. So thank you everybody who decided to join me for today. Obligatory plug at the end, of course, but if you like RPG content and if you like lore-focused content, if you like listening to a nerd nerding about game design and game lore, video game lore, be sure to follow me. You can follow me on Twitch and also subscribe to YouTube. My links are in my Twitch channel's description. And the plan is to make maybe 2 videos a week on YouTube. We have some, speaking of RPG by the way, speaking of tabletop RPG, I have some Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines content planned. Not planned, in the works already. I have already begun production. The idea is to stream weekly or twice a month at the very least, and turn, the streams into an interesting Let's Play series on YouTube as well. So if that sounds interesting, be sure to check that out. And that is pretty much it for today, guys. Hope you guys had fun. I sure did. And thank you once again for joining. My name is Jeff. This has been But Words Remain, and I will see you in the next stream. See ya.